Well, that's a tasty groove. Today we are in Indianapolis for the AFLV, the Association of Fraternal Leadership conference, and got students from all over here for a leadership conference. Pretty excited. There's 3,600 people in attendance tonight. Tonight is the opening keynote. Also, Joe Biden is speaking tomorrow, which is super exciting. Fun to share the platform with that guy. Indianapolis, home of the Colts, the Indianapolis 500, and blueberry muffin coffee. I'm kind of on a personal mission right now in my life, talking about so much with teams and about culture, right? Everyone talking about like hiring for a good culture fit and culture, and like people don't, not across the board, not every person, but like so much companies are like, yeah, we have a good culture, but they don't actually have a culture. Like the importance of being like, what is your culture? Like to define it. Most companies are like, okay, cool. What are the values that drive us? And like, okay, and honesty, integrity, and like quality and communication, and like none of those things mean anything to anybody if you don't define what does that look like in practice. That is what it takes to have a culture. You can't just say we value integrity and honesty and trust and da-da-da. It's like, who cares? Like it cool. But most businesses say that, and you can go to their website and look up their mission statement, their value statement, and it's like, but do people actually live that in practice? No, and not to their fault. It's not because they don't care about those things. They do. People care about those things. Leaders care about those things. But the challenge is knowing how to execute those and how to make that part of the common language inside a team and organization. You have to do that. It's not enough to just say, these are our values. Idea of a yes and culture, that all of us show up to work every single day and in our personal lives too, right? With the intention to say yes and be receptive, to listen and be present to what is right in front of us right now, and tune in to make other people look good. That's our focus, to embrace change, to embrace failure, and to choose to be positive. Talk about smiles for everybody, and that starts with the way that you show up every single day, all day long. Thank you guys. The worst reason in the world to do anything in business is because that's the way you've always done it. It's like, who cares? It does not matter. The way you've always done things is not important. Ask taxi companies if the way they've always done things is important. They're out of business. Your clients, the industry, will leave you behind. Your competitors, if you hold on to the way you've always done things. It doesn't matter. We constantly have to ask ourselves, if we started today, based on everything that we know, is that the way that we would do that? And if the answer to that question is no, then stop doing it that way. It's so important, right, that we have a culture of innovation that's receptive and open to ideas, and they're willing to challenge the way that we've always done things. You have to in business to adapt and thrive. That is what it takes. there is a change, there's a shift happening with organizations in the business world right now that people are understanding. Millennials getting into the workforce, and like the people care about culture now. 20 years ago, culture was like, what? Who cares? Our parents, they don't care about it. Culture was like, you have this job, you're lucky to have it, like go to work. Shut up. Right? Those people are some of you are those people. They're I still love you, but that is true. 2 seconds ago, as soon as she's like, yeah, cheers, I'm like, oh, cheers, Jester. I mean, no big deal, it was my idea. So saying yes to somebody else's idea is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. There's a way to say yes to someone to make them feel like crap. If I'm like, fine, I'm going to hike with you. Ugh. Technically, that's a yes. And it sucks.
Excited. Anytime I get on site, I'm like immediately ready to be like, let's go right now. I don't want to wait half an hour, I want to go.
Right. Yeah.
Like you ask most companies, like, what is your culture plan or whatever? They point to a poster that says integrity, honesty, quality, truth, communication, and fun. Like, that's not a culture plan. It's not a culture. What is our employees' experience? If you get a job here, what is that experience in terms of a culture? What does it feel like? What are our values? What do they look like in practice? How do we execute that? What traditions do we create? Do we start meetings with a certain type of check-in? Do we start meetings by talking about, right? Every month, we do that here. We reflect. This is our DNA culture code. This is the shift, yes, like culture code. And like we talk about it, we evaluate ourselves based on that. Employee performance reviews are based on those, right? On those things. That's how we live it.